and unhealthy conditions thriving inside the city's safety measures for the homeless and people struggling with substance abuse during the pandemic.
We've seen this situation spiral out of control during the past 5 years. It's a complex problem, and the city's plan isn't working. It's impacting businesses, residents, and the hundreds here on the streets. Marty Martinez, Boston's Chief of Health and Human Services, says the system is failing.
No one should lose sight of the fact that families all over our city are struggling with this disorder and all over the Commonwealth. And so what you see there is the impact of a system that's broken.
Our program is designed to teach high school students about substance abuse while also providing them with the information to make an informed decision about using. Substance use in Boston has grown to be a big issue. Individuals who have substance abuse disorder are a public health problem because many of them become impoverished and struggle to keep up with the demands of society in Boston to stay healthy and protected. Because of drug addictive qualities and impacts on hormones and chemicals in the brain, it is incredibly easy to fall into a pattern of regular drug usage. About 11.3% of the population of Boston abuse drugs and alcohol. The state also reports that the mortality rate due to opioid and drug use has increased in the last 16 years by 450%.
The target population served by our program is high school students in Boston. Shown here are the percentages of races and ethnicities seen in this population. The students are in grades 9 to 12, typically aged 14 to 18. 48% of this population is female and 52% is male. Also, about 50% of the population are at an economic disadvantage living in the city. Our goal is to provide aid to high school students that suffer from substance abuse. In Boston, the prevalence of substance abuse is 4% higher than the national average.
So you may be asking, why is substance abuse an issue today? Substance abuse has been an issue for centuries, but with the availability of drugs, illegal and non-illegal, they have been more accessible than ever. In the past, it has proven to be very difficult to regulate the distribution of substances. Usage of substances often has a high morbidity. Using drugs affects all aspects of life and can cause a plethora of serious medical problems and death. Substance use disorder also has a high comorbidity with other mental illnesses. When someone becomes addicted to drugs, physiological changes take place in their brains and bodies.
Why are high school age students the perfect population for our intervention? Well, high school students are at the prime age for making their own decisions. They are about to go off to college or into the workforce and will be gaining a lot of responsibilities and freedoms they didn't have before. They still have the structure of high school, making it relatively easy to implement a class for them to learn about substance abuse.
Children will be taught by professionals and specialists to help with the lesson plan, as well as psychologists and other resources for students outside of the class. The reason why we should bring in specialists is so that children will look at them as being knowledgeable in specifically this one thing rather than their teachers, who need to know the subject they want to teach. This will help us facilitate an environment of genuine curiosity and willingness to learn by the children. The curriculum would be developed to be taught by both existing teachers and by instructors that would be brought in. Existing teachers would teach parts of the curriculum because of the existing relationships they may have with their students, which can make it easier for students to trust their instructors and the curriculum they are being taught. These teachers would be trained before the start of the program by the professionals and specialists mentioned before and would be retrained each year before the beginning of the school year. The curriculum would mainly be taught by outside instructors, the professionals and specialists brought in, because of the more specialized knowledge they have. This course is 4 months long and is held from September to January and from February to June during students' freshman year of high school. It would fit into the already existing 2-semester schedule in Boston Public Schools. Within each semester, the students taking the course at that time would be split into class sections of 20 students in order to maintain smaller class sizes to create a learning environment that is small enough to facilitate small group discussions and foster peer relationships. It will be held as 15-minute sessions 3 times a week in a classroom setting. It will fit into already existing school requirements as a core credit class such as health class, sex education, and physical education, which students need in order to graduate. We will get buy-in from schools by incentivizing schools with certifications. After incorporating the program for 5 consecutive years, a school would receive accreditation as an institution meeting high standards of substance abuse education. This accreditation would add to boosting a school's name.
The psychologists are incorporated through a partnership with a counseling center in the area. They are accessed by students by booking an appointment through a link shared at the beginning of the program at any point during the course. These psychologists would also be available to students after they complete the semester up until they graduate from high school. Students would then be able to meet with a psychologist via Zoom. If a student has a preference, they will be able to choose a particular psychologist to meet with. The curriculum will include 5 sections, each of which will be approximately 1 month long. The first section will cover alcohol, marijuana, cigarettes, and hard drugs such as cocaine, hallucinogens, depressants, and amphetamines. It would aim to provide high schoolers with the knowledge to correct common misperceptions regarding substance use and its various consequences. This section will be taught by outside instructors who are specialists with detailed knowledge in order to provide complete, comprehensive information to students. The second section will be focused on creating social and self-control skills, as well as decision-making and coping skills, which will be taught by instructors that will be brought in, since professionals specializing in these topics would be able to explain them to students more thoroughly. The third section of the curriculum will be dedicated to teaching students about risk and protective factors, focusing on risk factors that can be adjusted and are present specifically in this demographic, and protective factors relevant to this population. This section will be taught by outside instructors, as professionals and specialists in the field would have more detailed knowledge of the topic. The fourth section will focus on fostering strong support networks, such as building and strengthening relationships with family and friends, which would be taught by high school teachers, as they would know the students more personally to teach a more personal topic. The fifth section will center on academic support, including tips and skills for focusing on school, which is beneficial in reinforcing substance abuse prevention as it helps students feel more dedicated to their futures. This final section will be taught by high school teachers as well. Of the 50 minutes that each class is held for, the first 30 minutes will be lecture style, with the instructor teaching the curriculum. The last 20 minutes of each class will be used as a discussion time period for students to have opportunities to interact with and discuss their thoughts with students their age in a safe space, which has been proven to make interventions more effective.
We need this money in order to provide a brighter future for our children and rid hospitals and the streets of people who did not have the educational opportunities and knowledge to make the choice not to use drugs. We hope that this intervention of adding a substance abuse class can help children make informed decisions, as well as feel safe to reach out to our schools, teachers, and other resources to not only learn for themselves, but also get help for people they may know personally.